welcome back to Community Conversations. I'm Tina Howard. Today I have with me a couple of people that you might not think of as being together, but here they are together. We have Mary Henson and Steve Coughlin. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank you. How are you doing?
Good to be here.
Now I know everybody knows Miss Mary from Mary's Kitchen. And if you don't know Miss Mary from Mary's Kitchen, you might know her from living here for a very long time.
Since 71.
71, practically a native-born Hartwellian then. And Steve, people know you from your music, but people don't probably know.
Other things too.
We won't talk about those. But people don't often associate you with Mary's Kitchen or with Miss Mary. What's the relationship here?
Well, you know, Mary runs Mary's Kitchen, which is a fantastic restaurant in Hartwell. A lot of people go to. It's one of
It's my favorite.
And I'm very picky about it too. It's but I own the restaurant and the building and all, and Mary runs her business out of it. So that's how we're connected. And
so you're the brains and she's the beauty.
No, she's everything, and I'm just the. And right now when I'm up there helping, I'm the head dishwasher.
Okay.
So I get to wash dishes and help out whenever I can when she needs help.
Do you ever have people come in that goes, "That looks like Steve Coughlin"?
I've had a lot of people say, "What are you doing back there with dishwash, around you and all?" But it takes it's a team up there. It's a team thing. And
yes, it is.
I go up there to help her out, and I've probably owned it. How long, Mary? It's been 6 years now.
Do what?
How long we've been? I probably bought it about 6 years ago. Yeah.
About 6 years
like
ago. And I got to put a plug in for Mary's Kitchen. It is my favorite restaurant.
Thank you.
It is my husband's favorite restaurant, as you know, because he needs a meal card. He's there so often. He eats there more than he eats at home, I'm embarrassed to say. But I like your restaurant because you have real good, authentic food. It's Southern food, it's meat and three, and a fabulous breakfast. Your meat and three, though, is interesting because your vegetables don't have the traditional, a lot of the meat seasonings and heavy fats. So if you're on a low-fat diet, for example, you can come in and load up on fresh vegetables, and that's what I love about your restaurant. And so y'all have been together for 6 years. How did you meet?
He was a customer.
You were a customer.
Yeah, I was a customer coming in every day, and that was when my dad was alive, and we sat at a corner table every day with several fellows, Ron Spires, different people, and just eating there every day. And it come to a point to where the fellow that owned the restaurant was ready to sell it. He was ready to get out of it because he had other things he wanted to do, and Mary was, they were kind of unsure what they were going to do because we wanted to for sure keep the tradition going because you've been there how long? 14, 15
Working
years?
on 17 years.
17 years. Wow. That's
and we
quite
didn't want
a
it
track
to close
record.
up. Yeah.
Wow.
It is.
And so you found out that the owner wanted out.
He wanted out. He wanted to sell. And
Mary was going strong at that point. And you were thinking, well, why would we?
Well, we didn't. To be honest, it was kind of a personal thing. Me and my dad were talking, and I said, where are we going to eat? And looking at me, I love to eat. So I got to thinking about it, and so I went ahead and made an offer and bought the restaurant.
Yeah.
And let Mary, I said, just continue on, kind of like a Warren Buffett thing. Somebody asked Warren Buffett one time, they said, what do you change when you buy something that the people that run the business? I said, nothing. That's why I bought it. Because it was a good investment, because Mary was successful at what she does, and she's so personable with it. Everybody knows her when they come in. It's like it's a hometown thing.
It is a hometown thing, and you're exactly right. Now, if anybody saw the show with you and Wayne Bailey, they'll know your musician roots and your story. But Miss Mary, we don't know anything about you. So you've had the restaurant going on 17 years. And I would say, I said this to you before the show, you're somebody to admire because you're a female entrepreneur starting a business at a time when not many women in a small town and not many women at that stage in your life would have gone out and opened a business. What was your motivation for opening the restaurant?
It was just something that I had always wanted.
Yeah, it's been
always
a
wanted.
job.
I love to cook, and I love people, and so put the two together, and I got what I wanted. After I got my kids grown, and then because that's too demanding to try to raise a family.
Yeah, and you have how many kids?
6.
6 children. Okay. I don't think I knew that. That is an accomplishment in itself.
Yes, 5 boys and 1 girl.
No wonder you can cook for the masses.
Yeah, that was like a smorgasbord at our house every night. It was kind of like the Waltons. Grandma, Grandpa, Mama, Daddy, and all the kids.
Oh, I love that.
And we had a big table, and it was spread. Daddy always made sure we had a garden, and we cooked out of that garden. And the kids, when we got to go out to eat, it was a really big treat for them because we didn't go out that much because we had all of that at home.
I'm just going to say, you had 6 kids too, and that would be expensive to go out with that many kids.
That's right.
Yeah. So you did you grow up cooking in your home with your mom and dad, or how did you come to cook?
My mom was well, I baked my first cake at 9 years old.
Wow.
I just went in the kitchen, closed the door, and I had watched Mama so much till I just started putting stuff. Didn't have a recipe out.
You didn't have a recipe?
No, I just started throwing stuff in the mixer, and it came out good, and I've been baking ever since, you know.
Wow.
So, and then my mom managed a restaurant when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And, of course, I was a waitress there, and she was an excellent cook.
Okay.
I've come from a long line of good cooks. My grandmother ran a boarding house, and she fed her boarders.
Wow.
And then all of Mom's sisters and brothers, and she was the baby. She was the 12th child, and she was the baby.
Wow, what a great American story. You know?
I know, you're not kidding.
Yeah, and she just, she was a great cook, and she was, you know, people followed her wherever she went.
Oh, wow.
And so I just learned from her.
You might say the food is in your genes.
And I love to cook.
There's
a lot of love goes into what I do. A lot.
Yeah. Oh, and you can tell because your desserts, cakes, and pies.
Thank you. I try hard.
Well, and I know that you do a lot of catering. Well, I don't want to say catering. What do I want to say? Is it catering?
Yeah, well, I do some catering.
Okay.
Some places, you know, that they'll call and want to know, can I bring it there? And then people will come there, will, you know, reserve for a party.
Yeah, but I've also seen people come in and say, I'm here for my cake.
Mm-hmm. And lots of that.
You've made them a cake because they have a birthday at home or something like that. And I see a lot of people coming in and getting cakes
lots
and pies.
Of that, especially the holidays.
And even your cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Not too many people know about the cinnamon roll.
Do we want to tell them?
They can. I mean, I don't mind.
So the cinnamon rolls that you have made, and I've seen them in the pan and I've eaten one, they are massive and they are things of beauty. And you make them from scratch.
Most everything that I have is made from scratch.
Wow. That's amazing.
I don't, like our mac and cheese is made from scratch. It is not anything about it that's a box, except the macaroni's in a box, you know. But it's made from scratch from from family recipe.
It is delicious too.
Thank you. We and we do sell a lot of that. That is one of our.
Because you have it almost every day, don't you?
Fridays, Sundays, and Tuesdays.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you something funny. Bo Howard cannot remember what day of the week I have to do anything. He can't remember to get something from the grocery store, but he can tell me every day what you have. Oh, I'm going to Mary's today because they have meatloaf and this and that and collards and black-eyed peas. And he knows your menu changes every day, but he knows which day to go. Isn't that funny?
And we also know what Bo wants every morning. He'll just call and say, I'm on my way.
It's so true. He has the same thing, and he loves it. It's a good Mary's breakfast. When he comes for breakfast, this is funny. Most people will reward themselves with food. He calls it his pre-ward because he goes for breakfast. It's his pre-ward before he has to go work. So he gets his pre-ward at breakfast. That's funny. Yeah. Well, that is good. And Steve, did you have a food? Did you have a food background, or you just like the eating part of it?
My food background goes back about 62 years. From the first bite.
You've had a love affair with food.
And I have, like most teenagers, worked in places off and on, worked in kitchens and stuff like that. But I have a lot of people ask me when they come in, they say, do you cook? And I said, if I cooked it, you believe me, you wouldn't be back. You wouldn't be asking me that. Because a lot of people ask about the foods, and to me, it's a good thing when I can look at them and say, well, all these pies and cakes, everything is made from scratch. Mm-hmm. It's all like your granny used to make it, like you grew up with. Mm-hmm. It's nothing's fast food. I've had some, they think some of them would think from out of town is like a fast food thing. And on Saturdays, Mary serves order off the menu. There's no buffet where you can order in the morning and the breakfasts they're great. They're fantastic. It's a country breakfast, and there's everything from all the different types of sausages to grits to. We even had one wanted how much was a grit. Want to know what about it? He wanted a grit.
Yeah, he wanted to try a grit, and I'm going.
He wanted to know how many came on the order, and I said, Mark said about 20,000. There's about 20,000 grits in that bowl. But
that's funny.
But back to your question, my background is I had uncles and aunts that ran restaurants. One ran a restaurant here in Hartwell years ago, and then left and went up to Swanee, but mostly just working in their restaurants and all, and now up there whenever they need me, and I go up there and work in the kitchen and wash dishes or whatever she has me doing.
I can always call on him if I'm short-handed, and he'll come right on and help me out.
Well, that's nice.
So, yeah, it is.
It's really good to have that, because you never know if you're going to have a few or a lot.
You don't.
So how do you plan for that?
Well, we cook. We don't cook ahead and put it up. He keeps it coming out fresh.
I know.
And that's
that.
one reason. Sometimes you might have to wait a few minutes in line, but I would much rather wait than it be sitting there drying out under the lights, and
Right.
so. But yeah, I've got a fantastic grill man, and
let's
he's
talk
fantastic.
about it for a second.
I don't think I could do what I do. I know I could.
Yeah, he is
Without
fantastic.
him.
And tell his name.
His name is Mark Mitchell.
Mark Mitchell, and he drives in every day from
Athens.
Athens.
Ex-Navy man,
day.
retired Navy cook.
Yeah,
Retired
he is.
Navy cook. Wow.
And he's good at what he does.
Runs the kitchen like a Navy retired chief cook.
Somebody's got to
Oh,
do it.
he's on top of everything.
Yeah,
He's,
he really is. He really
That's
is.
great.
And he's been with me probably almost the whole 17 years.
Wow.
He's maybe a month that he's not, we opened on August the 16th, 2002, and he came to work for me in September.
Wow.
And he's been there ever since.
Wow.
So.
And how do you keep somebody, and how is the relationship must be really good?
It is with most of them. It's some of them, of course, we had one that passed away. Her name was Mona,
Yes,
and
that's
so
right.
but she got sick and passed away. And then some of them move on to another job. It's just, and some of them just are tired.
Yeah.
Because we're there 9 hours a day.
It's exhausting. And speaking of that, what time do you get up in the morning?
Anywhere from 3 to 4.
3 a.m. to 4 a.m.
Now, see, I don't get up that early when I come in. My hours are adjusted a little bit.
Yeah.
You know not to call him that early.
Oh my.
But Mark is that early also, and having to drive all the way in.
See, he's having to really, because he's always there before I am.
Wow.
And he's already got things going. My oven getting hot to do the biscuits, and so, and most of the time my stuff's sitting out just waiting. All I got to do is put my pocketbook down, go wash my hands, and start.
Wow. And it's just you and Mark in there in the early hours.
And one waitress comes in.
One waitress comes
yeah.
in. Do y'all chit chat? Do you listen to music, or you just stay in the zone?
Mark's all about, I say good morning, Mark, and he'll say good morning, and that's about all we have to say, because he's doing the
busy.
grill, and I'm over there making biscuits, so, he's all about business, getting things ready, so.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'll, if the waitress hadn't gotten there yet, he'll go out and wait on the customers.
Do you have customers early?
Oh yeah, we have one that's there at 5:30 in the morning. He's sitting out there sometimes when we get there. So.
And certain ones that are there every weekday, every morning, they sit at the same table. They drink, coffee every morning. They're there right just about when the doors open.
And they might be there till 9 o'clock in the morning.
Because that's their social time. Isn't that wonderful?
And that's every day,
Wow.
So, but we just go by and pour more coffee, or, that's about all. When they solve the world's problems, then they go home.
I'm glad somebody's working on that, because we got some problems.
I know.
That's good. And you get to go home, I guess, in the afternoon. You're closing. You're not open for dinner.
No.
So, and at least you get to go home and maybe turn in early, or not.
Sometimes.
Right.
The waitresses, some of them, they work 6 days a week. And Saturday is a little bit of a break day because there's no buffet. But I've told these girls 100 times, I said, you might work 6 days a week. Mary works 7 days a week. Because on Mondays, every time I talk to her, she's getting ready for Tuesday coming up, having stuff to get done, calling in food orders.
Yeah.
And then once a week, Mary and myself, we meet in Anderson and we do all the food shopping for the restaurant for the week. And then plus what they deliver from U.S. Foods is delivered there.
Right.
So she puts her and Mark put more hours in than anybody. They put a lot of hours in.
And I buy a lot of local too. I buy a lot of meats and fresh meats and stuff, I'm all about the freshness instead of the frozen. There's a few things that we use, but like our chicken strips are fresh. I buy those fresh, and pork chops, all those kind of things. And this past Sunday we had country fried steak, and I get them to cube that, especially for me. And so, I'll do as much local as I can.
Sure.
And I won't plug the stores, but I guess they would like for me to. But that's
a lot of quality goes into it.
Oh, lots of good quality in the food. I like that.
Yeah.
Do you ever think, I got to see the end point here, or every day do you go in thinking, this is always what I wanted to do?
This is what?
Do you ever think about yourself in terms of, I got to slow down, I got to retire, or do you just enjoy it and enjoy the people and it's so much part of your life?
I don't think about it near as much as my kids do. Mama, you got to slow down. You got to slow down. You got to cut these hours.
Yeah.
They really want me to retire.
Yeah, they worry about you, I'm sure.
Well, of course, the boys say, Mama, do what you want to do. And of course, my daughter said she's worried, that my age and all.
Yeah.
But
that's what keeps you going.
The funny thing is to me, you're 20 years younger than your age, and you don't have to say your age on here, but it would surprise people to know your age. And because you look good and you're energetic.
Well, thank you. Well, I love what I do, and it like I said, I'm not a person that can just sit down. I've got to be doing something all the time. My daddy was that way. When he came home from work, he came through the front door, through the den, through the kitchen, set his lunchbox down, and out the back door he went. He never stopped.
Wow.
And he stayed out there till I called him in to eat. I always fixed our supper.
Yeah.
Mama worked split shift at that time. She opened and come home right after lunch, would lay down and go back at 6 and work till 11 or 12 o'clock, whatever time they closed.
You come from hard-working stock.
Oh, yeah.
You get it honest.
That's right. And he was 89 when he died, and Mama was 91.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
We're always telling her to slow down. Mary's, like today, we were kind of in a little bit of a rush to get to Addison and back.
Okay, so most people wouldn't believe what you all did today before you came here. So tell us.
Well, I went in this morning, and of course, we get lunch going and I'm working on.
But you were open for breakfast, so you were there early. Yeah.
And rushed around trying to, get that done, and then called you. You called me, and then I called you back, and I'm going, oh no, and then I called Steve, because I had really forgotten about it.
Because you told me this morning, well, today's the day Steve and I are meeting in Anderson.
Yeah, we had to go to Anderson, and then he has a meeting this afternoon
later on
late.
today. And so there was this much time in the day, and I thought, oh, we're going to have to reschedule. And you said, no, I'll call Steve. We'll see you there.
Yeah.
Most people would be exhausted after having the day that the two of you have had.
Well, she didn't want to leave the restaurant. I said, well, Mary, we need to go. If we're going to meet over there, I'll meet you because, we need to watch our time. And she was, and Mark's saying, go. But she's thinking, well, they might need, I said, they can take care of it. Let's go.
Yeah, Mark is an ex. I mean, he can. When I had my heart surgery and I was out 8 weeks, he kept it open.
Wow.
And then in 2010, I had a ruptured aneurysm and I was out 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And he kept it open, kept it going. So, I mean, he can do it, I can go home anytime. In fact, he'll say, why don't you go home and rest? But I don't know, just something in me tells me, you got to get this done. You got to get this done. So.
Yeah.
And that's one of the and that's one of the reasons I came up to help her, because I wanted to go in there knowing that if something happened where she could, not only to Mary but Mark or anybody, something could happen to where we have to close. I want to know. I said, I got to learn how to do this because I might have to do this one day.
Well, it's a lean organization. You don't have a whole lot of people. You do a lot with a very few number of people. But I'll say for Steve, most people have a favorite place they like to go and eat. But most of the people who, when finding out a place might close, would think, oh, gee, I'm going to miss this place. They wouldn't go, okay, well, I'm going to try to figure out how to make it keep going. But you took that extra step, and you not only took that step once, you are in it a lot. I see you there a lot.
Yeah, because I never know if something's going to happen with Mark or any of us. And the thing about it is, I wanted to learn it, to see what, if I had to come in, and you don't learn it from being at the top. You learn it from being at the very, very bottom.
That's right.
And that's where you start. And that's, I wash dishes. I think I've graduated to wrapping pie now. I think.
Do you let him wrap the pie? Does he do okay?
Wrap it, not cut it.
And I try to keep them laughing in the kitchen. I try to keep everybody going, the waitresses and all.
And that's a big part of working in a place. You've got to have some humor.
Yeah.
As well, and you might hear us laughing in the back or cutting up with one another, but it breaks that work, go, get
the monotony of it all day.
The monotony of it.
And people, when they come in there, I talk to everybody that comes in that door, because you want to make them feel welcome, no matter who they are.
You do.
So
right.
that's and it just
you
it just
have a
works that way.
diversity of customers, which is interesting to me.
It is.
You have people who are so elderly that, and they've been coming for a long time, that some of your wait people and even you will walk out and help them in, help them out of their car and into the restaurant.
Yeah, the gentleman you're talking about passed away.
Yes,
broke my heart that he
Bless
did.
him.
And he loved, and see him tears coming to my eyes.
I know it. Oh, gosh.
He loved to come out there. I told Steve today when we went to Sam's, he loved moon pies.
Oh.
And he'd always hand me $10. Get me a box of moon pies.
Oh.
And I'd get him a box of moon pies. And then one time he said, I don't have $10 with me. I said, don't worry about it. I'm not worried about it. So I'd pick him up a box of moon pies. And I told him today when we went, I said, I really miss picking him up moon pies.
I know.
But he loved to come there. And he said as long as he could get in that van, he was coming.
Yeah.
He did.
And all types of people.
He was what, 90? Turned 90?
91 or something. 90,
something like that.
I mean, he was a frail gentleman, but when y'all saw him coming, whoever saw him would go out and help him, and help him to the table and get his tray, and I just knew that was so important to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad loved to come. He would say, we had a table that we sat at all the time.
Yeah.
And the same people every day. And now we get the same customers every day. There's a group of, Jarvis Temple, Curtis Mewburn, Ron Spires, Tukey. They're all there every day. Plus the Fleming, the farmers in the morning.
Yeah.
These are all regular customers that come every day, no matter rain or shine.
Yeah.
They're there every day because it's like you said, it's their social place.
Yeah. And there's a Friday afternoon men's breakfast that Bo comes to a lot. They have a long table of people and eat every Friday there. So I know that's in his routine. So that's fun. Do you think past the restaurant what you might do in retirement? Do you have any thoughts about, I miss gardening and I want to get back to it, or I want to travel, or anything like that? Or do you just want to work until you
Probably
can't?
spend a lot of time with my grandkids.
And how many do you have?
12.
12 grandkids. Oh,
Of course,
my gosh.
some of them are grown, but the youngest one will be 2 in August.
Oh.
And then I've got 2 that's, 3, just a few months from February to July apart. That being 3 years old of each,
How fun.
Todd's son just turned, Bryson, he turned 3 in February, and Elijah will turn 3 in August.
Nice. And they get to grow up together.
Not August, July 25th. He was supposed to be here in August, but he came,
Came early.
the 25th
How
of
do you
July.
remember all those birthdays? 6 children, 12
Oh, it's hard
grandchildren?
sometimes because
Yeah.
we have them in every month, and March and May are really 2 of our biggest months. But from February with grandkids, but actually every month with all of the daughter-in-laws and son-in-laws,
Oh, sure.
they are every month is filled but one, and that's November.
Does everybody get a cake? Do you bake them a cake, each one?
If they get what they want,
Yeah.
if they want cake, we fix cake. So,
Oh.
yeah, we always try to get together and have. It's getting harder though as they get older to, and they've all gotten families now, and it's a little harder. But we try. We try to get together and have.
And they're all good
get-together.
folks.
And
I know
it's a
them all.
big
They're all
get together
really
when
good
we get
folks.
there.
Oh, that's an accomplishment to raise 6 children to adulthood that are good people.
They are.
You
They
got
really
any
are.
parenting
I am so
secrets?
proud of every one of them.
You are.
So proud of them. So, because I've got 2 in law enforcement. One of the twins is a Georgia State Patrol. He's a sergeant now. And then, of course, Wayne's a deputy here. And Todd, the one that's State Patrol, his brother works for Microsoft.
Okay, wow.
And Steve works for a company out of Gainesville that does office machines and stuff.
Okay.
He has customers that he calls on. Libby is a controller
Comptroller,
at Williams and Williams in Sandy Springs, Georgia. She lives in Atlanta.
Atlanta, okay.
And Mike is a sales. He's a district manager now.
Wow.
For one of the ST's company.
Okay.
I have to stop and think which
Well,
one
I
I'm
guess
talking
so.
about.
That's a lot to keep up
Yeah.
with.
So
You
And she had
got
one
any-
that was you had one that was a
What?
Hart County football player. Went on-
Mike won a scholarship. Of course, they all played football, but Mike won the scholarship. One reason is, he's a good football player, but he was also big. And he started Georgia at 17.
Wow. He got a football scholarship to Georgia? Mm-hmm. Wow.
He and Earl Fouch
Yeah.
that year won a scholarship to Georgia, and they went to school.
Together.
They went to school here together, and then they went to college together.
Oh, awesome.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he was
What's your parenting secret?
He was 6'4" and weighed, I think, 279 when he went to Georgia. So,
That's
and
sizable.
he was big.
That's a lot of food that you have to make.
That's true. That's true.
When you were at home with the kids, I'm sure you were
Well,
cooking.
I worked, but see, my mom was there.
Okay.
My mom and dad were
Okay.
there, and that helped me tremendously.
Yes.
I didn't have to worry about babysitters.
Yeah.
I didn't have to worry about getting them to and from school.
Right.
If I wasn't there, if I had to work over. But yes, I worked. I worked. And Mom would have maybe get something started, and then when I'd come home, I'd go to the garden, I'd pick stuff and come in and finish up.
That's
So,
nice. Do you still
it
have a
was.
garden? Do you have a garden now?
No.
Too much to
No, I can't. It's like Daddy died in 95, and he wanted in May 1st, he died May 1st of 95. In April, he got really low, and he said, I always plant my garden on Good Friday, and he said, it's getting time to plant that garden. I said, Daddy, there's no way we can have a garden this year. I said, I can't push that plow like you do. He had a push plow that he worked that garden with, and I said, I can't do that.
Wow.
But yeah, everything he touched grew.
He could grow.
It really did.
Wow.
So the only
That's
thing he
great.
couldn't plant was tomato plants. The bottom of the tomatoes would turn, they would start getting a rotten spot in the bottom.
Oh.
I could plant one right beside of his, and mine didn't do it. And he could touch that tomato plant, and it would. Don't know why.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know.
Gosh. Well, what are if you had to think about your parenting secrets, because to raise 6 kids, to get them all educated into adulthood, good citizens with great jobs, what is your secret? Is it the extended family support network, or is it a
I think
religious
so, and
affiliation, or what?
You got to have God in your life.
Okay.
And you've got to show a lot of love.
Yeah.
See, our family, actually, I was married once, and then through that divorce, I married the second time. Actually there were 7 kids, but one of his chose to live with her mother. So he had 2, I had 3, and then we had the twins together.
Okay.
So I think, I really think the twins helped bring the whole family together.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But
because they belong to everybody.
oh yeah, they belong to all of us. So, but they, it was just, I love it. You got to give them structure. You got to give them limits.
Okay.
You can't just turn them loose.
Yeah.
And because kids, I think I know mine did. They fought it. They'll fight you, but or they'll act like they don't like it. But they actually they feel safe
Yeah.
if they have
I agree with
a limit.
I do agree with
They're not just thrown out to the world. They have although, like I said, they will not like it, and when they do wrong, you have to show them. You have to do punishment, and you really got to follow the way God wants you to raise. And mine did get spankings, but they were spanked with love.
Yeah.
I know one time Todd and Matt, they did something, and I told them, I said, go to your room and sit on the end of your bed, and I'll be in there in a minute. I had to calm down before I went in there.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm going to talk to you, and then I'm going to spank your ear.
And they had to go in there and dread that.
So then I went in there, and I had my little talk with them, and then I said, okay. And here's Todd. He had long, long eyelashes, and he looked up at me with big eyes, and he looked up at me, and he said, and I looked at him, and here's these alligator tears coming down, and his eyes were full
He was playing her,
of
boy, I
tears.
tell you.
And he said, can I have a hug first? And I said, oh my God.
Oh, he's good.
I said, go.
Oh, he is good.
Oh, I know.
And when my dad whipped, he was like a helicopter landing. Anything that stuck up got hit.
Yeah, but yeah, you have to give your kids structure. You have to trust them.
Yeah.
And then if they break that trust, then they've got to earn that trust back. And these kids, they did. You got to give them, like, they had chores to do. If they didn't do their chores, they didn't go anywhere. If they broke the rules, they were grounded. And I was tough on that grounding.
You were?
It wasn't 2 or 3 days or just a weekend. It was 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Ooh.
So I had one that stayed in ground. I just told on her. I'm sorry. But
One of them was.
Well, she had to be tough. She was the only girl from what Mary
Well, that's
said.
Yeah.
true. That's a good point.
yeah, she had to be tough.
She did.
But anyway,
But she stayed grounded for a while, huh?
yeah, she would get out and she'd break the rule again,
Yeah.
and she would right back on grounded. And I know what Tommy said one time. He said, "I'll be glad when this 6 weeks is up." They could go to school and go to church, and that was it.
And that was
So,
all.
Yeah.
Oh, you were tough. But you had to be. With 6, you could
You
not.
did, and you had to stick to what you said.
Yeah.
You couldn't, you really did. You had to kind of stick to what you said, even though it hurt you too.
It does. Tough love is tough on the parents. I used to think tough love meant the kid was going to be dealt with in a tough way, but it's
That's
tough
right.
on the parent.
That's right. And I also, I prayed a lot.
Yeah.
God, I can watch them here while they're in my sight, but you're going to have to watch over them and bring them home safely.
That's
so
right.
You have to give them back to God.
Yeah.
Where He can take care of them for you.
That's right.
And I think, that's one of the main things is God in your life and God in their life.
Yeah.
Is and we always took our kids to church. We didn't send them. We
Right.
took them.
You went with them.
We were with
Yeah,
them,
Very important.
and they all enjoyed going to church.
When you were young, did you know you wanted a lot of kids? Did you know that you wanted to do what you're doing with the restaurant, or did you have a whole different thing in mind for yourself?
No, that was. I mean, I had tried a couple of times before I got this place, and nothing opened up. No doors opened up, because most restaurants. Let me say this: you got to love that, or don't do it, because. It's like I said, it's tough. You put more hours. I've been out there a lot of times. One day I was out there 21 out of 24 hours.
Wow.
So there's a lot that goes into it to make
Not
it work.
in it for the money, I know, because when you divide out the money you
Yeah,
make over
there
the
you
hours
go.
you're in, you'd be better off going to be a cashier
Yeah.
at Walmart or something.
Yeah, people see what comes in the door, but they don't see what goes out.
That's right.
In what you pay.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And you got to really love it to stick with it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to get into it to get rich.
If I had to run it, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Are you the money person, or is Mary the money person? Who pays the bills and budgets and
I do.
everything?
Mary
That's
does
you.
all that.
That's you.
Yeah, I just pay him.
Yeah.
He
the
just, she
building.
just, yeah, for me, she just
For the building, yeah.
the thing about running out, that's all her stuff.
operating.
Like I said, the biggest reason I came up there and did what I did was because if something happened to her, I wanted to keep it going.
Yeah.
To keep Mark and them employed and all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's no way I could even come close to. If something happened and I was running it, you're getting all your goodies from the bakery at Walmart. I'm going to warn you now. That's where it's coming from.
Have you ever thought about expanding or franchising or anything like that?
No, but I've had a lot of people want me to open up a restaurant in Danielsville, in Athens. My son, it was that Matt, one of the twins, went to Athens, University of Georgia too.
Okay.
And he said, "Mama, you need to move to Athens. There's no restaurant like this in Athens.
Yeah.
Today you would make a killing over here."
Yeah.
But and then I've had them want me to move. Several have approached me from Livonia, wanted me to move up there.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, but even one of my old classmates had come down with another gentleman trying to get me to move up there, and I told him that it's not that easy getting off of the ground and going with it. They might like it, they might not. So, but I do have a lot of people that come from Livonia, from Elberton, I have people from Anderson.
All over.
Some people from Atlanta, they just get in their car and come up there, so.
When you started 17 years ago, Hartwell was a little different 17 years ago. I don't think, and I have nothing scientific to back this up, but I don't think it was quite as crowded as now.
No.
I think more people worked out of town and weren't here during the day, but I don't know. You know much better than I do. How have you seen things change over those 17 years with the restaurant?
I see a lot more like diverse people coming
Okay.
in, and people. But as far as, I don't think there's been that much change, but
Just more.
just more.
Just more people.
More people.
More people. But when you started, the Springs was open, right? And that was probably a good source of your business.
We
at
had
first.
a really big crowd from over there, but they were mainly the construction workers. And then when you'd see it slow down, then they'd completed their task, and a new crew was coming in. But by word of mouth over there, they would come, and we will, if they call in an order, we will fix it and take it over there to them. You know, so they like that part of it too. And there's been several of them called in, and we've taken the order over there. As long as they tell me where to go, I'll get it to them.
And let me add something to this too that we hadn't spoken about. Hartwell has a lot of restaurants. I mean, there's quite a few restaurants. And Mary is the type of person to where, because we've talked about it, she likes the competition. She supports the competition. There's Jim's Grill. You know, there's a corner kitchen. I'm talking about family-style restaurants, corner kitchen. You know, there's a lot of people in the restaurant business of Hartwell, and it's good that they support it, because they need to support everything. Our Table, another family-style restaurant. They need to support the local people.
Yeah,
because much as possible.
I'm glad to see somebody, and I hate to see anybody go under.
Yeah.
And these are all good restaurants. They're all, if you want a good meal, you're going to find one somewhere in Hartwell.
Yeah.
But I'm always glad to see some of them. You know, somebody said something, you think that's going to hurt? I said, well, you know, it might. Everybody's going to go to a new place to begin with.
Try it out.
But they're going to come back to the place that they love.
That's right.
Yeah, we just tell them to come out to Mary's and eat, and we'll tell you where the rest of the places to go.
Do any of your kids show any affinity, or grandkids want to be in the restaurant business?
Matt has spoke many times about it. Matt was going to Athens Tech, and then after he graduated from there, he decided he wanted to go to the University of Georgia. So, but he helped at the restaurant. He helped Mark, you know, there. And we did the jail food at one time too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we did it for 23 months.
Oh, wow.
And so he would always, when he got out of class, he would come and help me get the evening meal prepared. Mark would go home. And
how lucky were they, to get Mary's kitchen?
I know.
And he learned before. He wouldn't even go in the kitchen and put water on the stove to boil, but he learned from over there how to cook. And he travels a lot with Microsoft and going to different places, and he eats a lot of varieties of things, and then he'll go home and prepare it.
Okay.
He does a lot of the cooking at home with his wife. Him and his wife, they'll critique it and fix it like they want it, or they'll fix it all, and I'll get pictures of, it put on the plate like a chef does.
That's great.
So he really shocked me because, and then he's shocking me on doing work, doing things around. They just built him a home, and he's doing a lot of already fixing things, or like he wants them
so
done.
It turns out he's quite handy at home, huh?
So he's learning how to do carpenter work and do things like that, and he sends it to me, and I tell him how proud I am of him, because I said I would have never would have thought you'd get out and do yard work and split trees and.
Something else I wanted to tell you too about Mary's. When we used to eat there, my father and I, when he used to eat with us and all, Mary's was the first restaurant I ever went to that cooked cornbread like my grandmother and my mother and my wife.
It's the truth.
My wife cooks it the same way my mother did and my grandmother. To me, it's called the old Alabama way, in a black skillet. And Mary cooks it like that in bigger quantities, but it's the best cornbread you've ever eaten.
It is, I agree.
And I am biased. It is the best.
Cornbread's not easy to make, in my opinion. I had John Milner on here several months ago, and he does a lot of cooking. And he told me something that I did not know, that you have to get the skillet hot first before you cook. No wonder my cornbread was so messed up. I never could get it to
And a lot
brown.
of people cook it slow, and you don't cook, you cook it faster. You don't cook it slow.
With a hot pan.
And the hot grease, pour it back in there and mix it up, and then pour it back in.
And in a hot oven, so it cooks quick. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you turn out so much.
Well, we cook in long pans.
Yeah.
Long pans.
But you
Big
must,
ovens.
the amount of food that you turn out, do you have any idea how many people you feed?
I would be on the register. It totals up.
Oh,
you
it
know,
does? It
but
gives you a count?
I never even really look at that.
I can tell you, I go through. We have a lot of plates, and in the kitchen when I'm washing, and some on busy days, I go through them plates several times for sure.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And like my sister comes on Sunday and helps, and she might not appreciate, but I don't think she would care. She'll be 84 in September, and she comes and wraps silverware and answers the phone and takes orders for us for the to-go orders, and she keeps up.
That's
you know,
nice.
she really does. She keeps up, and
great.
that's a way to get her out of the house, and it helps her.
And it's busy, busy, busy.
Yeah, it's busy. And we got, you know, when they take it out of the dishwasher, they take the silverware to her, and she's sitting there wrapping. And when she gets the phone ring, she'll take the order, hand it to the girls. They go fix it, and it's ready. You know, the ticket goes in the bag, and
It's busy.
when
Sunday's
they drive
the
up.
busiest.
Well, you know, a lot of kitchens and restaurants still take the I'm not going to give you the science of dirty dishes, but this is unique. They'll take the dishes and put them in something, and spray them down, then run them through the dishwasher. We hand wash every dish.
Every
Wow.
dish.
And soapy
Every
water
dish.
and Dawn and Claw, and we hand wash each one, then put it in the dishwasher.
Wow.
So that
That's
way,
different.
you know, it's and they're metal, they're ceramic plates. They're not, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's important. It's because when people get it, they want to see it, you know, clean, and
Oh, yeah.
it's just done the old-fashioned way. You
That's
know,
great.
and Mary makes everybody in the kitchen have time out sometimes because she just she runs the girls. I mean, you could tell she's used to running kids because she
Yeah.
runs those girls.
Yeah.
And they all love her like a mother. So
I'm sure they do. And the iced tea that you make is so good.
No, thank you. Well, I'll have to give Stephanie credit for that.
Miss Stephanie makes
she
some
makes
good
the tea, and she does a good job at it.
Yeah, she does. So she's so sweet too. I enjoy seeing her. That's part of the appeal, I think, for me and for Bo. Is certainly Bo is seeing people that he likes every day, every time he goes there.
Well, you know, you don't mess. There's two things you don't mess with Southerners. They're fried chicken and sweet tea. They want that sweet tea.
It's true.
I know.
And a lot of restaurants don't have good tea, so I don't know
know.
how you make it in so much quantity, and it's still good.
That's true. I had these two guys came in one day from. I don't know if I can say it like they do. They did or not, but they were from Tennessee.
Yeah.
And they came in one day and they said, they were asking us, did we know? They said, you ladies ought to know where we can get some R&R tar, don't you? And I said, excuse me? you ladies always know where to go get R in your tar. I said, air in our tires.
Oh, that's so funny.
And they said, yeah. So we got tickled at them. They laughed about it too. And then they wanted some of that sweet tea
Oh.
before they went.
Yeah.
So we fixed them a cup of sweet tea.
That's
and every
good.
once in a while, one of them doesn't come anymore, but the other one still will come through. He does granite, the headstones.
well, the other one's still looking for the air in his car.
That's right.
But they sometimes they'd go down to the golf course and play a few rounds of
Yeah.
golf, and then they'd go on to Elberton and pick up granite and take it back and and do the headstones. But
funny.
And he'll call about 6 or 8 miles out of Hartwell. He loves our hamburgers. We have delicious hamburgers.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, and so he'll call about 6 or 8 miles out and let Mark go ahead, and because it's cooked, it's made from we make out our fresh patties to
Do you
pick the
serve
buns.
hamburgers every day though?
The what?
Or just on Saturday?
No, you can get those anytime,
You can get
except
them anytime?
Sundays. We don't do any short orders on Sunday.
Okay.
But
Because
you
I
can
have
get-
heard about your burgers.
Now we've got a Steve special
Oh, what's the Steve
that I had
special?
Mark make up for me, just for
Okay.
me. And people saw me eat and said, golly, that looks good. And they eat it and they say, I love it. But it's just it's a hamburger, the meat on a plate with the bottom bun, the chili, the onions, the cheese and all this stuff. And it's fantastic.
That's
chili,
his special. He doesn't want the
cheese.
top bun, so top part of the bun.
So the onions, the fresh onions. so
Oh,
you eat it,
I
and
see
it's
what
just
you mean.
delicious.
It's an open-faced kind of
Yeah.
And you just eat it with a fork, and it's just
yeah,
it's killer. It's,
that's one of his diet foods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. That is good. So when you go home after you've worked, Do you even feel like making supper? Do you even eat supper?
Not much at the time. I don't. Usually, I'm full from lunch because
Yeah.
we don't eat till about 2:00.
And everybody's
so
gone,
I'm
yeah.
still pretty full, and I might just make me a sandwich or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do. My wife cooks. She's a great cook, a good meal. So
Yeah.
That's
and you know,
good.
so
But
I
I
kinda
don't.
stuff
I
it in.
don't. I don't eat that much, and sometimes, and I love I love pasta and stuff, and those. I'm giving them a plug now. The lean cuisines.
Yeah?
I like those. It's just enough.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm really hungry, I'll fix me one of those. But
Yeah.
I don't usually want that much. Just a sandwich.
Yeah.
Or maybe a bowl of soup in a sandwich,
Yeah.
or when I at night because I've already eaten it.
Yeah.
Work.
And you've cooked enough.
Well, it's hard to cook for one person.
It is hard to cook. It's
is.
hard even to cook for two, I think.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. I mean, because then you got a lot left over. You
Well,
can't
it's
just.
cheaper to eat out if you're just one person.
It is.
It
generally,
is.
Yeah, you're right.
It is because I bought stuff and I'll end up. I don't want to do that tonight. I'm too tired, and then the next thing I know, I'm throwing it out because I've let it stay in there too long and should have already cooked
That's right. Where and what and who would you be if you did not have your restaurant?
I have not a clue. I don't have a clue. It would probably have to be something cooking because that's where my heart is, you know. I used to be, from 95 to 2002, I was a food service supervisor out at Whitworth Detention Center.
Okay.
And I had 9 men in the kitchen that, and I had, each one of them had a certain job, and, it was just, I guess that's just where my heart was. And I've always loved to cook.
And you followed your heart. Mm-hmm. That's a great story.
It is.
It's an American story.
It is.
Well, twice, like I told you, twice before I tried to have a place, and it just didn't work out. So the third time I said, okay, God, I'm going to try one more time. And if the door gets shut in my face this time, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore because I know it's not meant for me to have one. And everything clicked right down the line.
Wow.
And then I said, I guess it's time now, Lord, isn't it? So
That's why we couldn't let her close.
and every day is
right.
thank you, God, for, if it's a good day or if it's a bad day. Thank you, Lord.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
good thing to say. Would you have any advice for young women coming up, young adult women or women in high school or young ladies, when they're coming up and they think they want to be an entrepreneur? Do you have any advice for them?
You just got to want it with all your heart. You got to work at it with everything you got. Even though you're tired, don't feel like doing it, you still got to go. There's days when I go out there, I don't feel good, but by the time lunchtime gets there, I'm running around, and getting things done. So you just got to follow your heart, and be determined. If you're not determined, if you don't have that determination, don't even go there. Don't think I want it. Know you want it. So,
It's good advice.
yeah, that's
Good
the only
advice.
thing I can say.
Yeah, that's
Um,
good. Well, gosh, this has been fun catching up and getting to know you and hearing your story, the American story. There's a book here, I think, that you could write.
Or a song.
Thank you. I
Or a
appreciate
song.
That's right.
Appreciate you having me.
Well, I am so thrilled to have you here. And Steve, I appreciate you coming too.
Enjoyed
And
it.
Give us a little 5-minute update on where you are with your music, because the work that you do with Mary's Kitchen is kind of a day-to-day thing, but you're still out there recording. You were in the studio last night, you said?
We're going to be in tonight. We're laying the vocals for the new album, some of the songs.
And what album is this of
This
yours?
is for the Just Whisper album.
And this is your third?
It'll be my third
album,
And these are 2 new country songs we're going to release.
Okay.
And they're going to be radio releases. We have, we're going to be at the Bowman Festival Saturday. We're going to play outdoors,
Yeah.
which we don't do a
Nice.
lot. We don't like to do a lot of outdoors, but the weather's
Weather's
should be
good right now, so.
And we've got
yeah.
we're also going to do a show at the 40th anniversary for the Hart County Theater
Right here in Hartwell.
in
the Hart
Hartwell. This is
County
their 40th
Community-
year anniversary, and we're going to do a show for them.
When is that?
And
Is that
I
coming up?
believe that's going to be May the 18th, but you might want to check. You can check our website or check Facebook theirs.
Okay. So check Facebook for yours or the Hart County
Or the Hart County Theater, and they'll let you know the date.
And that's in May, though.
Yeah, it's in
and
May.
It'll be a weekend, I guess, a nighttime show on the weekend. And that's a benefit for the theater on
the theater.
40th anniversary. Gosh, I can't believe it.
And then we've got other stuff coming up. The closest here, again, will be at the Red Clay Theater in Duluth doing a show.
Okay.
That's a nice theater.
Yeah, it's a really...
Red Clay, I've not heard of that.
It's a really, it's a good-sized theater. It's a nice place to play. It's right downtown Duluth, and it's owned by a fellow by the name of Eddie Owens, who used to have Eddie's Attic in Atlanta.
Fantastic. So, Miss Mary, if he's in the kitchen washing dishes, are you a groupie with his band? Do you go with him and watch?
She goes to quite a few when we're close by. Yeah, she's traveled to Athens, and she's been there and sat with my wife and all, and everybody in the band knows her. So yeah, she's. We have several in Hartwell that do that. Yeah.
That's
But
great.
I'm getting to the point that I don't like to drive at night by myself.
Yeah.
So, because I do have macular degeneration going on, and it bothers you at night because
Does
the
it?
lights, and
And you critique some of the new songs, like some of the new stuff. She'll tell us if she likes them and all.
Do you really? Did you tell him I don't like this song or I like this one better? Or
yeah, I do. I've told him about a picture on Facebook I don't like.
But I'm trying to think what else we have coming up. We have a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to be real busy, and the band's getting a lot more notoriety, and it's going good. We've got 4 on the radio now nationwide, so
Good for you.
we're just
That's
waiting for
amazing.
them. And it just takes, Alan Jackson wrote in a song one time, the wheels in Nashville, they turn mighty slow, and they do. And wherever you're from, that's usually the last place it's going to come out on the radio. So, but we're doing a lot of states. We're doing a lot of plays. So it's getting better.
Yeah.
That's great.
And what was it Wanda said about me? She liked me because I told him.
Yeah, Wanda's like, Wanda tells me not what I want to hear, what I need to hear, and Mary does the same thing.
Good. Everybody needs that.
Yeah, and that's what you need. You don't want to look at the doctor and say, am I doing all right? And him say, yeah, you're doing great. Then look at his nurse and go, it's not looking good. You need to know these things because that's how you critique what you're doing. So we're happy about that.
That is great.
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, I really admire you both, and I love this relationship that you have. I think it's just a really nice, incredible.
Yeah,
It's a good working relationship, and we've become friends. So it's worked out really good, and it's.
Right.
I know everybody in her family, and she knows mine. And
his dad was great, and his mom was too. Although I didn't know her quite as well as I did Bob, because Bob came every day and ate. And once in a while, before she got so bad that she didn't want to go out, I think she would come with him. And I never really sat down and got to know her as much as I did Bob after she passed away.
That's nice.
in fact, he even took you to one of my shows one time, and you rode with him.
Oh.
No,
looked
I
out
took
there.
him.
You took him. You didn't ride yet.
I drove.
Because I looked out there, and there's Mary, my brother, and Mary, and my dad, and I was like, "This is good." Because she had to drive because Dad, you didn't want to ride with Dad.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I drove because Bob scared me.
He scared me too.
That's great. Everybody needs a relationship like this. So I'm so glad you have each other, and I'm glad that you're in Hartwell and that I'm here and get to know the
Well,
two of you.
his whole family's been they've been great to me, and supported me and love Wanda to death. She's one that tells you like it is. You can like it or lump it.
Yeah,
But she's a
appreciate
good
that.
Yeah,
person.
she's the strength in what I do. She's the one that she's heard every song, no matter what time it is, and she'll tell you he's woke. He wakes me up at 3 a.m. and say, "Listen to this." But she's the one that tells me whether she's going to like it or not. And 9 times out of 10, the ones she likes or the ones she don't like are usually the ones that marry or some of the others that come to the show a lot. We have.
That's interesting. Does he come in sometimes in the morning and say, "Come here, listen to this new song"?
I might tell him about it. I don't carry it around with him, but I might tell him about
You're
it.
not
but-
singing back there in the kitchen?
No, usually no, not usually. I'm usually telling jokes or talking to customers or
That's fun too.
Yep.
That's fun.
Aggravating Mary or some of the waitresses or something. You know, I try to keep
Yeah.
them on their toes.
Keep it light there.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I thank y'all so much for coming in.
Thank you for having
We
us.
Very
appreciate
fun
it. Thank
interview.
you for having us.
Really appreciate it. And thanks everybody. We'll see you next week.